The astrology of January 2025 is going to change everything, my friends. We are talking about a Sun-Pluto conjunction happening in the middle of January. We are talking about Venus and Mercury changing signs. We are talking about a full moon in Cancer that will be co-present literally right next door, like right next to Mars retrograde, and the nodes are shifting signs. Now, there is actually so much more going on in January, but as many of you know who track with me on this channel, we dive weekly into stuff that will be unfolding week to week. But in these monthlies, I very much just like to touch on some of the big things and just sort of muse with you on how I'm feeling about them, and I want you guys to always share with me in the comments on how you're feeling about the astrology and how this stuff might be affecting you. So yeah, we like to get cozy here. We like to explore astrology, my friends. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, my name is Theodore. I'm an astrologer, of course. And yeah, I hope you could stick around and subscribe to the channel. Maybe like this video if you enjoy my vibes here. And let's just get right into this, my friends. So I want to begin by saying that 2024 was a hell of a year. Most astrologers were predicting that 2024 was going to be a massive, powerful year of a lot of just boiling point moments, right? I mean, we had one of the most contentious elections in recent memory. We have had a lot of shifts in potentially what we could foresee for ourselves in the technological age. And now we're beginning to very much live it, right, with the AI rise, and we're dealing with things going on in the sky right now, right? Like what's going on with these drones? Like, is this some kind of AI thing? Like, is this like being manipulated online, or is this some sort of real phenomena that's happening all over the world? We're talking about massive shifts of consciousness, and 2024 was kind of this last year of the last age of Pluto and Capricorn, wrapping up stories in our own life, but also very much intuiting and starting to taste what the new future has to offer us, So the biggest story, honestly, of January is the continuation of Mars retrograde, right? Because now we're going to know what part of our lives are going to be affected, or how we're going to be handling the Cancer part of your life, right? Because Mars will be retrograding further and further back into Cancer until literally February 25th. So we are definitely not out of the woods with Mars retrograde stories. And having a full moon there on January 13th is going to be very revealing, my friends. But before we get into further down the month, I just wanted to start by saying, listen, 2025 is going to be a whole other beast. The world stage is going to show us a lot of wild stuff. Again, we have transits that are coming that very much mirror parts of history in the last 100 or so years that, yes, are worrisome, but also possibly very much needed in order for humanity to kind of wake up to certain things, but also so we can begin to transform structures within society, within our global form, and global governments, I guess you say, but global, just how things are very much viewed from a global perspective, right? There's going to be a lot that is put under the spotlight, and I feel the people's voices are very much going to be heard, and this year is kind of the start of that. Because guys, don't get it twisted. Just because everyone has their issues with their governments or whatever the hell's going on with these drones, or are we going to have a disclosure moment? Like, a lot of crazy shit's being said. A lot of AI out there is manipulating information and making people, what do you actually believe? I mean, this is a massive question that we're going to have to ask ourselves as we move into the future. Are we actually viewing things online that are real, or are they not real? And this is part of this shift into the new future. And on top of all of that, the rise of the people is very much also in effect. So just as much as people feel like they're losing power, there's an equal opportunity for people to gain power. Okay, and this has also been a massive part of history with Pluto and Aquarius. So the reason why January is so important after leaving 2024 behind is because we're now entering Aquarius season. So Pluto, of all the zodiac signs to be in, we are dealing with a massive Sun-Pluto conjunction that will occur coming down the line in mid-January. And we'll get to more of that in a minute. But this is why the new future, and this is why 2025 is actually starting off with a bang, because Aquarius season always starts off 2025. And Pluto is there, beginning one of the most epic historical transits ever in our lifetimes. Pretty much over the last 200 and something years, we have not had this powerful of a transit ever. Okay? And some astrologers actually say that we haven't had Neptune and Uranus change signs together with Pluto like this in thousands of years, if you actually track back the transits. So for humanity to be going through a moment like this, we are talking about massive change that no one has ever faced before, involving technological advancements in the way we actually view reality, right? So this is huge. Now, to start off the month, because let's get right into this, my friends. To start off the month, Venus enters Pisces January 3rd. So literally 3 days after New Year's, Venus becomes exalted in Pisces, which is beautiful. Pisces is ruled by Neptune. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter in ancient astrology. So again, Venus softening some of the blows that may come through January that will be, again, I don't even think January is going to be challenging, to be honest. I think it's going to be very revealing. I think it's going to be very innovative, right? I think a lot of us are going to know more of what we've been very curious about, more of what we've been left in the dark about. I think more information will come out, for example, about the drones. I think we'll know exactly where American politics stands, because I know a lot of people are still very sketchy with the transitions of power and all this other shit going on in America. But the beginning of all this is beautiful, in my opinion. I think having an exalted Venus is very much needed, right? And of course, where is Pisces in your birth chart? We're going to be talking about an element of creativity and beauty. And again, just pleasure. Venus is pleasure. It is how we experience pleasure. It is how we attain pleasure. It's a lot of stuff involving all the good vibes a benefic like Venus provides. So it's no surprise that Venus is exalted in the home sign of Jupiter, right? And again, I use ancient astrology, guys, in my work. So Jupiter has always been associated with Pisces. We're talking about high wisdom. We're talking about high spiritual understanding. We're talking about very deep sensitivities. And wherever Pisces is in your birth chart, again, we're dealing with a Saturn energy there as well. So Venus is going to come in and try to add some beauty and pleasure and even comfort to a lot of the structures and things trying to be put into reality with Saturn there, because Saturn has very much been trying to build and restructure something going on in Pisces for you. And now you're going to have an opportunity through January, right, where Venus will very much be able to add to the creative and the dreamy and the spiritual nature of things there, right? So again, we're all different. We all have different stories playing out in Pisces, but it's very important to acknowledge that we do have a benefic that is exalted this month, and that is very, very beautiful to me. And I think we should all look forward to whatever's going on in Pisces for you. So again, to have a malefic transiting in Pisces, but now to finally have a benefic reach Pisces this month, I think that's a really beautiful thing. And I think we should very much be grateful and appreciate that Venus could be providing some good things there for us. Now, a couple of days later, Mercury goes into Capricorn. So Capricorn, again, a very, very big sign for a lot of the experiences we've been dealing with Pluto there for 15 years. But of course, Mercury has been coming to Capricorn year after year, just doing what it's going to do regardless. But this is the first year that Mercury will be in Capricorn the first time Mercury will be in Capricorn without Pluto there. Now, I don't think that's something we should dwell upon or contemplate too much at all, but the fact is that right now, Mercury, the mind, the communicator, we're talking about getting out of Sagittarius, where it just played out a massive story with a retrograde cycle, having massive mutual reception moments with Jupiter. We're talking about the integration phase now being completely done with that Mercury retrograde story and completely coming in to a whole new territory, a whole new theme of life for you, where the mind can now have an opportunity to become activated, more ambitious, more resourceful, more disciplined. So this is why I've been saying, my friends, all these retrogrades, Jupiter still being retrograde, offering that self-reflection, Mars being retrograde, still providing whatever lessons and understandings you need to hone in on for the Leo Cancer part of your life. We're now dealing with Mercury, the mind, in a very powerful earth sign that can allow you to even amplify and progress whatever it is in your life that you are looking to build upon. So again, Mercury and Capricorn, a very powerful transit for me. I think this is wonderful. And that's why I'm saying, my friends, no matter what goes on in the world, these transits for our own lives, we're going to have a massive opportunity in 2025 to transform our lives, to build something, to get very creative, to change big things if we want to. Right? I don't care if aliens show up. You know what I mean? We can still build a life and integrate whatever goes on in this world the way we need to. And and deal with the aliens when they come, my friends. And honestly, the only thing to really be worried about if that ever happens is if they're hostile or not. Because if anyone is shocked that there are entities that exist in this universe that could visit us, and how could you believe in ghosts and spirituality and angels and all this stuff and then be freaked out that they one day decide to reveal themselves? So unless they're hostile, we should have nothing to worry about, my friends. But regardless, what happens? What happens in politics? What happens in the global world stage? If it's not directly affecting us, we need to focus on our own hopes and dreams and desires and what we are trying to build for ourselves. Because let me tell you something, my friends, in the age of Pluto and Aquarius and the new future of fire and air, we need to focus in on what we are trying to build for ourselves, because we will need to use our skills and our passions and our dreams and desires and whatever we're doing in this life to anchor in to this collective moment, or we are not going to be able to really help the world in the way that it actually needs to be helped. If we don't help ourselves, if we don't help our own stories, then we can never contribute to the world like it needs us to. So this is why focusing on yourself, building what you need to build. What is Mercury and Capricorn going to be doing with you this month? Again, all these transits are here, primed and beautiful to amplify so much else going on in our life. So I want you to remember that when it comes to Mercury and Capricorn specifically, because we're talking about the mind, my friends. We're talking about the way we think. And yes, wherever Capricorn is in your birth chart very much is the story, but collectively speaking, these energies are going to be very, very welcomed in a lot of other places in your life. Now, the next big story, the nodes shift January 12th. So again, North Node goes into Pisces, my friends. Pisces is going to be a massive zodiac sign for this year. Right? We have a lot of action coming down the line too in the next couple of months with Pisces. I mean, we're going to have a Mercury and Venus retrograde that goes from Aries back into Pisces, right? As we get into the springtime, late winter into spring, into around, early January, early April. So again, Pisces is very activated this year. Okay. So we're dealing with a whole new eclipse, stories coming down the line. We're talking about whole new areas of your life being very much changed in the biggest ways that you've had changed in a long time in those zodiac signs, right? I mean, the biggest changes that have come to Pisces for all of us is really the last Saturn ingress, right? Saturn being there, and Neptune has been in Pisces for 12 years. So we're now having opportunities to have massive eclipses, to have massive retrogrades that will be coming down the line with Mercury and Venus, right? And this is huge because we are now dealing with a new era in a new future, which very much involves dreams, creativity, infinite potential. We're giving another opportunity with the nodes of fate and destiny to bring into this world a lot of the things that we're looking to change, a lot of the things that we're trying to build. And yes, this is a moment of building for all of us. Mars retrograde, Leo, Cancer, Mars is taking action and is being restructured and re-strengthened for us right now. So when we talk about the moment we're really in, and with all the other retrogrades, we don't get put into retrogrades for nothing. We are reviewing and we are reassessing and we are restructuring and we are all rebuilding, right? And we are trying to fine tune ourselves and massive things in our lives as we shift into the new era, right? The age of fire and air, Pluto and Aquarius, and the next big transits of Neptune and Uranus. So to have the nodes of fate and destiny shift also in January to set us up for 2025 is huge. So analyze your Pisces story once again. And the good thing is that Venus will now be there as well for the month of January, of course. And this shift is very much going to be activated in a massive way with Neptune, with Saturn, and with Venus now. So this is going to be a big day, in my opinion, for understanding where a lot of things in the world stand as well. Just to zoom out on the world stage, I think we're going to see some big events that kind of dictate certain things involving what could be dreamed and created into the new future. We're talking about seeing some first signs of exactly what could be revealed to us involving, again, the ethereal, things that maybe people once thought were not possible. And now all of a sudden people are going to realize, oh my God, this is real. Oh my God, this is possible. As far as world stage events, we could start to see things very much unfold that can get even more confusing to a degree. And I hate to even say the word confusing because Pisces can very much put us in places where we're still trying to gauge what's real and what's not real. So the age of the North Node in Pisces is very much going to balance us between the world of grounded practicality and a world in a future of, again, infinite potential. We're talking about what is real, what is not real, kind of having a foot in between both worlds. So just as we conclude a Neptune and Pisces transit, which will go into Saturn, Aries very soon, the nodes in fate and destiny, in my opinion, as I'm sitting right here intuitively, I'm feeling we're still going to have this ping pong back and forth between very grounded practicality and very ethereal, dreamy, infinite potential, possible some confusion, possible delusion still playing out on the world stage. And in our lives, I think this is going to be different, my friends, because I think Pisces is still a very big zodiac sign that we're going to now be dealing with for our own self in the next year or so. So Pisces is very important to keep your eyes on. Coming shortly after that, literally the next day, we have a full moon in Cancer, and that will also be with Mars retrograde. I'm going to definitely talk more about the full moon in a future video, but essentially, my friends, full moons reveal something that was once hidden. Okay, we're talking about something going on within the Mercury retrograde story for you in Cancer that will be revealed. Something will come to light for you involving whatever it is that you are restructuring and re-strengthening. And I think this is going to be providing a moment of comfort, safety, and security, right? Now, for some of us, this full moon can activate and reveal something that might not be desirable. And whether that's the case or not will be something you have to deal with in your own way, because Mars in Cancer, yes, can very much allow us to act upon our emotions. Sometimes we can get emotional and get frustrated, or this could be a beautiful time to put into action and to understand more of what needs to be played out in a very physical way, a very Martian physical way on how to restructure and re-strengthen, of course, once again, stuff that's been going on for you in Pisces. Right? Like, what house topic is Pisces for you? These stories are trying to get stronger there, right? When we deal with Cancer, I'm sorry, I don't know if I said Pisces before. With Mars in Cancer, we have to completely examine what house topic this is, of course, because that is where the re-strengthening and restructuring is going down, you know? And this full moon will be illuminating something there, which I think is going to be very powerful. But we are going to talk more about that in a future video. Now, Coming shortly after that, we will have Aquarius season begin. The sun will go into Aquarius on January 19th and will immediately conjunct Pluto. Okay, so January 19th and January 20th, which is when the profected Pluto cazimi, if you will occur. This is huge. This is also when the United States president will be inaugurated. So there's a lot of other stuff that probably will be going on in the world as well. In our own life, we are talking about a deep illumination, a rebirth, a cleansing, a purification, because whenever the sun conjuncts Pluto, the deeply transformative planet of death, destruction, decay, rebirth, shamanic initiations, shamanic revelation, we are talking about the sun and Pluto being in the heart of the sun. Okay, so things will definitely be very purifying, very enlightening that day. And I think for our own lives, this will be very, very positive in nature. Some could argue that rebirths are painful. Some could argue that rebirths can be a little disturbing because maybe we're not ready to be reborn into some new version of self or into some new dimension of what that particular house topic theme of life is for you. But I always find cazimis to be good omens. I find cazimis to be very much purifying in the highest of senses. So I think we could look forward to that day. And I know many of you in America might not be okay with that because I don't know how you feel about Trump or not, of course. But the idea is that this is occurring on Inauguration Day, my friends. This is occurring on a day where we're talking about Pluto going through a rebirth. Okay? So what does this mean? I don't know, but this is a very powerful transit, and this very much can be also a very powerful day that can be a trigger point for many things to come into the future because, again, we're having our first massive Sun-Pluto conjunction now with Pluto being officially in Aquarius for the next 20 years. So symbolically, I find this to be a very powerful transit, and we will see what happens, my friends. Now, the last transit I would like to talk about, the new moon in Aquarius, which will happen January 29th. Now, what's interesting about this new moon is that before the new moon profects itself, Mercury and Pluto will be right in the center of the sun and the moon. So we'll have the moon on one side of Mercury and the sun on the other side of Pluto. So this is really interesting to me because Mercury and Pluto essentially will be almost having a conjunction. So a Mercury-Pluto conjunction with a new moon literally about to take place within hours. So at the end of this month, I think this is something to very much keep our eyes on. So think about that. Going from a Pluto cazimi to literally a week or so later, having Mercury enter Aquarius, having a whole new sense of self. Mercury, the mind, the communicator, will immediately start to open massive dialogues with the shamanic force of Pluto, which of course is the massive transit that is literally reshaping reality before our eyes. And then also having a new moon in Aquarius. This is huge because new moons are all about birthings. They're all about new beginnings. They're all about what is going on in my life here. What can I do to plant a seed? What needs to be moved in a direction that has not been embarked upon yet? What new journey, what new adventure do I need to start? Right? What is going on in this part of my life that very much needs my attention, my faith, and my trust to be even a little unique and original as I move forward in something going on here in my life in a very, very new way. So new moons are all about birthings. They're all about intention setting. They're all about planting seeds. They're all about looking at something going on in that part of your life and saying, hey, is there something here that needs to change? Is there something here that I can start maybe in a more fresher perspective? Can I have a newer perspective on something? Can I change my mindset on something? And that's very much going to play into the Mercury realm, my friend. So this new moon, I think, is going to be very mental. It's going to be very shamanic. It's also, and I think, very psycho-spiritual. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of spiritual revelation comes to us in this coming month. I wouldn't be surprised if we really start to see how the world really starts to shape itself, right? I think we're going to know more about these drones, for example. We're going to know more about American politics, for example. So I've been saying waiting for January to end is really like the biggest thing we all can like finally get our heads around, because so many people have been so confused and just left in the dark with politics, things going on around the world. Now in recent weeks, we've been dealing with this drone phenomena stuff. A lot of people are freaking out. A lot of people are waiting to see where their lives are going to go as we head into 2025. And as an astrologer, to close off, I can say the transits coming for all of us can be used in such a powerful way for us to very much manifest lives we want, things that we want to see grow and built within ourselves. Okay. Even if this is an internal journey, a spiritual awakening journey, not so much monetary, not so much building wealth or a new career, this, that, and the other thing. But we're talking about having so much power at our fingertips to move life in the direction we want to. This is a very freeing time, my friends, believe it or not. And also a very big time to take advantage of social media, because social media is moving in a direction where it's going to need more human beings and less AI. Because in the age of AI, yes, it'll propel many people's lives and do many great things. It will assist human beings in becoming smarter, more intelligent, but it will also take away a lot of humanness from the world, in my opinion. And this is very important to balance these two things. So I think social media is going to need as many compassionate and human like humans, to say that in a very strange way, than ever before, right? I think more and more people need to be themselves on social media. I think more and more people need to share their stories on social media, right? And this is extremely important. And I think the beginning of 2025 is going to start really sharing with us how creative and how beautiful we can expand our lives in that field. You know, in the creative arts, in the world of dreams and envisioning things, right? Again, Pisces having the North Node there, Venus starting a transit in Pisces will be beautiful for January. But again, we have so much to come down the line that involves dreams, that involves putting dreams into action, right? Neptune going into Aries, very much a powerful transit of taking our dreams and our spiritual inclinations and just our visions of the future and making them very real, right? In our own life, these are powerful transits. On the world stage, we have to see what these will do. But one thing I know for sure, my friends, is all of the astrology moving forward in 2025. Not only is it going to be wild, but it will be inspiring. It'll be life-changing. And I think we all need to hope for the best, have faith and trust, and of course, roll with the punches as they come. All right, my friends, that's my monthly forecast. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please join me and stick around as we unfold the rest of 2025 together, and I'll see you next time.